Hey, what's going on? This is Chris coming in again, another video. This is Friday. This is not the 4 p.m. rant. This is the 6:13 rant. So at 4 o'clock, I just didn't really have the the information I wanted to talk about. Still working. Today is also the pre-release, so like the latest set came out for Magic, so I was kind of like looking at that. But I finally got completed with the little work I had to get done, and here I am right now, and it's 6:13. But this is basically how it is. Like no matter what happens with my day, I always try to make effort to do it at least once a day. So with that basically being said, let's move into today's topic, which is basically the ongoing idea of utilizing social media, online applications to sell like things like e-commerce, and being able to build a brand for yourself. Like, so when you go ahead and you look at what you want to actually do online, like what you want to sell or what you want to basically give back, you have to think about, what are you good at? Are you a mom who's raised kids, and now their kids are grown, they have their own kids, or they don't have their own kids? You are what we would consider an expert of raising children of that particular, like either all boys, or twins, or maybe kids that had any disabilities, anything. You can be the expert in that. Think about it, sit down, write it down, and you just bring it up when it comes down to talking about it. You just bring out videos like this every 5 minutes every day about stories that relates to you, on what it was to, raising children, maybe raising children in the city, raising children on a farm. You think about those things. I mean, like, that's just an example. Yesterday, I went to go to play DDR. I like every Thursdays, I like to sit down and I like to go drive out to round one, because I play this game called Dance Revolution. And when I was growing up, that game was not necessarily as popular as it is today. It was very like niche. They had an arcade in Bayshore, Long Island, called what was the name of it? Wow, I think I forgot the name of it. But it was like a record store, and then inside the area they had a little arcade, and they managed to put a DVR machine there, and I remember playing it. And like now I noticed that my skills are like so subconsciously like connected to what I used to play, so I could play all the old songs. People even tell like, "Oh, you've been playing for a long time, that's an old song," and it's weird to hear it's an old song, But maybe I can talk about my experiences with that. Maybe I can start talking about tips for people who want to get into it. I can share my experience with that, and that might lead to people maybe playing it. So if you're like a DDR player, and you played for a long time, how to play, how to get better at the game. It doesn't necessarily about being AAAs. Like, I think that it's about just like, can you get on the pad and not fail for long periods of time? Do you have people who think that you're as good as anybody? Because I know that if I was able to talk to someone, which people are kind of like what we call considered, they were introverted. A lot of introverts were like played DDR, so people didn't really talk too much to people unless they knew who they were, and there was a lot of competition. So that type of idea of like connectivity or working together didn't really work with very things. I also worked with Magic, so you can take these things and put these things online and slowly build your gaming with that. As for me, I speak Japanese, and I kind of had a very personal reason like speaking Japanese. Like I wanted to play video games, I wanted to be able to read the manga, and I wanted to be able to communicate with people, and the internet was still growing, and I had opportunities to always do it. So, and like despite all the distractions that would come up around me, I always found some way to go back to it. And sure enough, I know fairly a lot, and I passed the N2, and I'm trying to go ahead. I'm sorry, I passed the old 2, and I'm trying to pass the N2 now, and I'm trying to figure out a way to get into these things. And these are like proficiency exams, you know. And I think that the biggest thing about it is that information is going to be really important, because a lot of people are going to be probably traveling to Japan sooner or later. But learning how to learn is one thing I think is important. And if people could buy, you know, $2 or $3, like somebody's like, you know, technique course online about how to do something here, do something there. You know, if I was like 10, 15 years old, I would never stop. I would never stop learning. I would never stop growing. And you would have a whole nother type of person, you know, one person that's easily able to adapt. You already go to school and you already learn social studies, math, science. You're constantly learning different math, you know, and languages. You're constantly always relearning, but we don't really like focus on learning how to learn and learning things that are like more comfortable with us. If you're a gamer and you're really good at like Fortnite or League of Legends or any like those competitive games, you don't necessarily have to be like at the top tier, because honestly, like that's a different way of thinking. You should be playing video games like I am, just to play, just to have fun. And you can get people who are enjoying that, you know. So maybe if you live in an area that people aren't necessarily interested in like gaming, you know, for instance, or you're like one of the few that's not playing, you can always go ahead and pop out your laptop or your phone and show a little live stream of you playing. People can get a chance to see what you're doing, interacting with you, and you can build that network you may need. And the thing about it, you maintain these things for years, you know. You never really know where your skills may come in handy some other way. You maybe just you knowing how to do these things on the interwebs would probably be something interesting. So you have to think about this. Like, that's what I think Facebook should be about. That it's not. I think that Facebook is Facebook was basically a place where you would just overconsume. You would just want to click, like you do anything for attention, and some of it bit people in the butt, you know, later on. But I think going on right now, Facebook isn't going anywhere, and it's just getting started. They just have to like play some catch up. And another thing about it is that I know people probably say that, you know, Facebook is like, you know, is not safe. It's the application, like Facebook, it's about, they make money by creating a world for you to basically work in, and they try as little as possible to not affect your reality there. They don't want to go ahead, like when they go ahead and they added the stories to Facebook. They don't really tell you how to use it. They just get people to use it. And what happens is that your reality is assumed that everybody just shows their pictures or they sing or something like that. But you could do videos like, I could take this video, I can make a YouTube video out of it. Then I could take a clip of it and I could put it as a story that's attached to a video that people can actually go into it on Facebook, or if they're not interested in using Facebook, they can go into on YouTube. And then you probably can use it as an email blast for somebody later on. But you can do so many different things with with the technology that's given to you. As the years go on, like the way we program and the way we connect is going to get easier and easier. You know, our phones are already like a part of it. We're already cyborgs. You know, I mean, Elon Musk basically has said that. But that's all for today. I think that it's going to hit probably like 10 minutes right now. And if you like this, you know, send me an email. ksamuel.chris@gmail.com. I'm on Twitter, you know, Chris K Samuel, all one word. I also have the podcast at Yamanote_in-tech. And then I also do I'm also have like a TikTok that I'm trying to like experiment with right now. So stay curious, keep working on the things you want to get done. Try to be a little bit more social with what you're doing online, because it's really hard to kind of talk to people if you're not necessarily being your true self on here. And just understand that, you know, we're all in